Hello, everybody. I'd like to share my opinions and observations about a recent news story involving the Black Lives Matter movement in St. Paul and their plans to protest the Twin Cities Marathon. Now, these are two worlds that I'm very passionate about. I'm a very avid runner. I do a lot of marathons, ultra marathons, triathlons, so I'm coming at it from that perspective, but I'm also coming at it from the perspective of somebody who cares deeply about issues of marginalized communities and oppression for historically underrepresented minorities, and just any kind of community that faces any kind of oppression. And so this story for me, I kind of have mixed feelings about it, simply because I first off just want to say that if I were part of that race, if I were running that marathon, hands down, I would, no question about it, I would just stop and join them with the protest, because honestly, my involvement with marathon running and that whole culture is serious, but it's never as serious as to take priority over somebody's life. So if and this is common sense, if somebody in your family was hurting, if somebody was dying in your family, I would hope that you would put priority over their lives as opposed to finishing a marathon. And so that's the idea here, is that black people are losing their lives, and people of color are losing their lives at crazy rates, and we are just carrying on as if business as usual, right? And so I would say that even if I put all my put like $150 for this race and months of training that it takes to run a marathon, and say I was trying to go for a PR or something, I would still humble myself to the fact that I'm very privileged to even be able to have the expendable income, expendable time to dedicate to this marathon, and that there are issues that are more important than this marathon, right? So I understand it from that level, and I would show solidarity with the people who are out there because they are hurting. But what I would like to make comment on is the fact that I observed a lot of people's reactions to this to be really violent and really negative, which is really surprising for me as a runner. You see the running community and you think nothing but good thoughts for the running community. We usually pull together for when any group is suffering, or when any group is going through a hard time. When Hurricane Sandy happened, they canceled the NYC Marathon, and although some people are upset, for the most part people were understanding of the fact that people are going through hard times. But for some reason, because maybe this event, maybe the Black Lives Matter movement is too politicized for some people to see that it's an actual human rights issue, they just don't see it the same. A lot of the people commented. The question posted with that article was, what would you do if somebody tried to stop your marathon? And a lot of people's responses were just outright violent. They would just say that, I would just elbow them and keep moving on. I would bring my pepper spray with me. I'd get a firearm that I could run with, so I could threaten them with, point a gun at them while I'm running so they can get the fuck out of the way. One of them was, I would curb stomp and move on. It's just insane that these are the people in the running community who, it's like, have some class. Like, these are the same people that would criticize people of the Black Lives Matter movement for resorting to such violent and savage-like behavior as rioting and looting and interrupting a marathon. So it really goes to show the hypocrisy of a lot of the critics of the Black Lives Matter movement, the fact that they would even think about doing such violent acts in retaliation to somebody stopping their marathon. So I think it really goes to show how ugly a lot of people are, and you would just never know. But I'm really disappointed in the fact that a lot of people were just really violent and really racist and really just resistant towards the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, at the same time, I really think they're there is a better way there is a way that I would have done it differently, because I'm more positive based activism, more love based activism, as opposed to it's very rooted in pain what's happening, and I understand it as that. But a lot of people, the way they see it is you're hurting me, and I don't see the pain behind it. I just see the fact that you're trying to stop me from doing something that I'm entitled to. And people are entitled to no bounds. So when you mess with people's entitlement, then you're up against a lot, and it's going to create nothing but friction and rubbing together. That sounds kind of weird, but at the end of the day, it's just I'm giving my observations about it, but at the end of the day, it's only so much my call. It's not my call, because I'm not the one that's directly affected by it. So I think part of it is understanding the privilege with which you speak. And I could stand here and say that I would be different, or I would do this or that, but really, if we were in that situation, we would probably act the same. And I think that's the only way to truly see the situation, is with that kind of compassion and understanding, because other than that, you're just going to be butting heads. So I cannot say that, my way is better, because I'm speaking with I'm speaking with some privilege on the issue. And so really, I cannot make accurate judgment on the situation, because I don't know what it's like to be having to be constantly harassed to that level, to that extreme, to have family members just dying off in huge numbers. And so I think that's important to understand. At the same time, I just want to really just speak my opinion towards finding some other way of just dealing with the hurt that the communities are suffering with, and I really feel like if you take the upper hand, and if you show people love, that you would be surprised with the response. And it may not be the response that you need or want, but it's about being patient and understanding. And I think without patience and understanding, there's going to be no way to create the change that we want to create. And so I understand where the Black Lives Matter movement is coming from, and I understand where the racers and runners are coming from, because it's a group of very determined and motivated people who will stop at nothing to achieve their goals. And I understand that. At the same time, you need to humble yourself, have some class. Don't say you're going to curb stomp people. Don't threaten people with firearms. It's just ridiculous. And so I'm really disappointed at the running community, and the fact that people are just willing to just be so violent and be so negative towards people who are obviously hurting, but they don't see it as such. So I err on the side of having more compassion and understanding of each other, and I think somebody's got to take that leap, because everybody's just always concerned with how they're hurting, even if you are in the right. Sometimes it's about being, I'm sorry, even though you fucking punched me in the face. Is there a way we can work through this together? And it's just tough, because I feel like there's a way to do it in a more positive way, but then again, like I said, it's not my place to say. But one other issue I had is the fact that this kind of sets up a false dichotomy of the fact that you either have people who are running the marathon or people who are part of the Black Lives Matter, and it creates this kind of weird false dichotomy of the fact that, well, you're either with us or against us. If you're with us, you're standing with us. If you're running the marathon, there's no way you could be with us. So which I don't think is ever that simple. So but my heart goes out to the Black Lives Matter movement and to the runners as well. I wish somebody could, I think runners actually should step up to the plate and just stop the marathon and stand with the Black Lives Matter movement, because I don't know, that's just what I would do. And it's very clearly a group that's hurting, and as runners we should take it into our hands to show them that we care, because that's what running is about, and that's what running culture is about. So that's all. Thanks for your 10 minutes. Have a good day.